The following Zoom session is being recorded and will appear later today on my YouTube channel, Math with Mayo. There are two different classes that may be observing this session. Therefore, when you participate in the Zoom meeting, if you do not wish for your picture or your name to be made public, please leave the video off and use an alias name. If you have questions during the meeting but do not wish to speak, email me at bmail@ybcc.edu and I'll respond as soon as I can. All right, today we're reviewing for the Chapter 10 test. So let's start out with, do any of you have any questions you'd like me to look at?
I'm good.
Good, okay, all right. Any other questions? Okay, well then I'm just gonna kind of do a general review, and if we need to do anything specifically, you let me know. Let's see, section 10.1 was the square root property and completing the square. The square root property, you want to get it in the form where you've got a square on one side, a perfect square with a variable inside. And then over here, a constant. And then you take the square root of both sides. Don't forget the plus or minus on the right-hand side, which then you need to write separately in WebAssign, okay? Any questions about that square root property? Okay, next was completing the square. Any questions there? Anything there you want to look at, examples or anything? Okay, how about the quadratic formula? Any questions about the quadratic formula? All right, how about second degree equation in this form? So you've got the axis of symmetry is at x equals h. Don't forget to write it as an equation at x equals, not just the number. And the vertex is at hk. Okay. Then the other form was y equals ax squared plus bx plus c, where the axis of symmetry is at x equals negative b over 2a. And the vertex is at negative b over 2a, comma f of negative b over 2a. Any questions there? And then recall to find x-intercepts at y equal to 0. And when you've got y equals 0, something like this, you could use the quadratic formula to solve it for the x-intercepts, or you could factor it if it's factorable. And then define the y-intercepts at x equal to 0. So that would equal the constant term. Okay, well, if you don't have any questions, you're good to go. Anything you want to look at, story problems, anything? Everybody's in good shape?
Could you maybe go over a story problem?
Anyone in particular?
Let me look really quick.
All righty.
Did you hear that or did I mess
No,
up?
I didn't hear it.
Oh, 35 on 10.4. Sorry, I had too
That's
many
okay.
screens open at once.
Sorry, okay. Where is your last name Silva? Danielle?
No, Rainy.
Where?
I'm getting to that one. I was just looking
Oh,
over
here
it.
you are. Okay. Sorry, I was looking for your name and I couldn't find it. Okay, I got it here. All right, you said which section? 10.4?
Yes, please.
In which problem?
35.
35, okay. Sorry, I was looking through trying to find Danielle and I couldn't find it. All right. 30.
I'm in hiding.
That's okay, it's all right. Sometimes that's a good place to be. You said 35. Okay. All right. So suppose you are a police patrol officer and you have a 276-foot roll of yellow do not cross barrier tape to seal off an automobile accident as shown in illustration. What dimension should you use to seal off the maximum rectangular area around the collision? And then they want the shorter side and the longer side, and what is the maximum area? Okay, so let me switch screens. Where'd the mouse? There it is. Okay. So we know we've got a rectangle, okay? And we know that the total perimeter is 276 feet, right? We've got 276 feet to go all the way around it. So what I generally do with this is say, you know what, if we cut this in half, that would be half of that. Let's see, what is half of 276? Oh, 276 divided by 2 is 138. So that means this side plus that side is 138. Okay? You all right with that?
Okay.
What if I call this X? This would be 138 minus X, because the total, again, let's see here. We got two sides of the rectangle, and the two sides equal 138. If we call this side X, we've got 138 minus X left over. Okay? Not X minus 138. That's the common mistake. No. So one side's X, one side's 138 minus X. Well, your total area is going to be X times 138 minus X, length times width. So then A of X equals 138X minus X squared. I'm going to write that in descending powers, standard form like that. Okay, now, if we graph that thing, it's a parabola opening downwards. This axis would be X, and this axis would be A of X. So your maximum area would be the Y value of the vertex. And the X that produces that would be the X value of the vertex. So we basically need to find the vertex. Well, let's see. A is -1 and B is 138. X equals negative B over 2A, which is -138 over 2 times -1, which is 138 over 2, which is what, 69? So X equals 69. So that means this is 69. Well, 138 minus 69 is also 69. So basically what we've got is a square. So the dimensions are 69 feet by 69 feet. Now, I think I mentioned this the other day, where this gets confusing is the way they have it in WebAssign, shorter side, longer side, okay? Because it's a square, both sides are equal. So that tends to confuse people. They think, well, wait a minute, but so each one should be 69 feet. Then the maximum area, you could find that two different ways. You could either find A of 69, plugging that in there. So you'd have what, -69 squared plus 138 times 69, which gives you 4761 square feet. Or you could just take 69 times 69 and get the same answer. Are you okay with that, Danielle?
Yep, I got it.
All right. Anybody else? Any questions on that one? Any confusion there? Anything?
I have a different question.
Yeah.
So on 13 on the review, it says to give the answer in 2 decimal places.
Okay.
It wouldn't accept my decimal places, but it did accept the 1 plus or minus
Okay, okay. Let's take a look there.
square
Lindsay.
root over 2.
Okay, let's see. Lindsay, there you are. Okay. This is chapter 10 review. And which one was it?
Number 13,
For 13.
unless I just got the wrong decimals.
Well, let's see. Okay, I'm gonna look at your previous answers and see what you put in there. Negative 1.3 and 2.3.
So I got them
Huh.
wrong.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I was looking over here and going, well, that's the right answer. Yeah, so you had the right answers in terms of your radicals, but then something went wrong on your calculator. So let's take a look at that, okay? So let's go through that. So give me just a minute here.
I have a really crappy calculator.
Okay,
Extremely.
does it have square roots on it?
So it does have the square root. But I have to go like 13, then the square root, and then like plus 1,
Okay.
and then divide by 2.
Okay. So let's deal with that. Hang on here. Let's see.
Because you want them in the decimal form, even though it accepts it in the radical, right?
Yeah, and that's one of those things where it always bothers me because technically WebAssign, if they're following their own directions, should have marked your answer incorrect because you gave the exact answer and it asked for decimals. You know,
I mean, it works for me because my calculator sucks.
Okay, all right, hang on. So what we're gonna do is I'm going to open up a calculator that's online. And so give me just a minute here.
Yeah, because we tried doing the one on the calculator online, and I think the calculator that I have is just like that, and it's just of a pain.
Okay. All right, here we go. Let's see here. I can get this.
Here, let me put my camera on. This is the one that I have.
TI 30X. Oh, yeah. You want the TI 30X, or what is it? Let's see, what is it? X Roman numeral 2.
Oh, yeah, this
Yeah,
is A.
But okay, so can you see my calculator online there?
Oh, wait, yeah.
Okay, so what we need to do is we need to quantify the entire numerator. So we're going to go parentheses 1 plus the square root of 13. Now, I need to put a right-hand parentheses so that I'm closing up the radical. Okay, so see this one and this one puts the 13 inside the radical. And then another one, this outside set, quantifies the entire numerator. And your calculator doesn't work that way.
Nope, I get,
Yeah, you have to. So
yeah,
what
I get 14.
Yeah, and so rather than confuse everything by telling you how to get that one to work, use the one online. Since we're
Okay.
If it was the beginning of the quarter, I'd say go get one of these. But at this point, I would say just use this one online.
And
Okay.
this is my third calculator. I still got the wrong one.
Okay, so now
Okay.
divided by 2. Okay.
Okay.
So do you see how I've got one set of parentheses for the radical and another set for the entire numerator?
Okay.
Now, rounding this to the nearest tenth, you get 2.3, which is one of the answers. Okay.
Okay, so I had the right answers, besides I didn't have the negative in front of the 1.3 for some reason.
Hmm.
So that
Yeah.
was my bad, obviously, but here, let's see.
Okay, so are you okay with that, or do you need more explanation there?
No, I'll go ahead and use that if you would prefer to have it the decimals.
Well,
Because that's what the question does ask for.
yeah, again, I don't, it would be my luck if I said, well, since it accepts the exact answer, go ahead and use that on the test. And then you'd use it on the test and it would mark it wrong. And I'd be like, oh, so
Right?
I'm going to say, follow the directions and hope for the best on that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So on the, doing it the way, the only way that I can do it on this calculator, it doesn't show it as a negative 1.3, because I'll go in, I have to
Okay.
do the square root of 13 and then minus 1 and then divide that by 2. So
Mhm.
I do get positive 1.30.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I'll
Hang on.
have to
Hang on
use the
here.
online.
So can you see my whiteboard now?
Yeah.
So this is what I think you're telling me. You put in 13 and then you hit the square root button, right?
Yep.
And then that gives you the square root of 13.
Yep.
So then you go +1 equal.
Plus or, well, for this one, negative 1.
I'm doing the first one.
Okay, yep.
I'm doing the 1 plus the square root of 13 over 2. So you get the square root of 13 plus 1 equals,
Yep.
then you divide by 2 equals.
Yep.
And that gives you the 2.3, blah, 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 right?
Yes.
Okay, so then how are you going to do the other one?
So the other one,
Do you have, is there a plus minus button on your calculator down at the bottom? On the bottom right, like right about, let's see, where is it?
here, let me make yours a little bit bigger.
It's over about there. Hold your calculator up. Hold it up there, come on.
No, I froze it. I don't have the plus minus on this one.
Do you have a minus, a negative button down at the bottom?
I do have a negative, so maybe it's the, well, I can't do a negative square root.
No, okay. Hold your calculator up so I can see it. So up further, up. Okay, you do have a plus minus button. Look at the bottom of your.
Oh, I see it.
Okay, so do this. Try this and see if this works. Okay.
Okay.
Put in 13 square root equals. Okay.
13 square. Okay.
Now push that plus minus button. What did
Okay.
it do? Did it put a negative sign in
It
front
made
of
it
that?
a negative.
Now go +1 equals,
Negative
divide by 2.
2.6 divided by 2. So then I get the negative 3.1,
And when 3.1
or
or
I mean 1.3.
1.3. Okay, so yeah, and which is why you know what I use those calculators for that you've got? I call them
Garbage.
paperweights. Paperweights.
Okay.
Anyway, does that work?
Yeah, so that works. So on the if I'm using this calculator instead of using it for the when I'm plusing, when I'm minusing the number, I have to add that negative, correct?
Yeah, because
Okay.
what you're doing is you're kind of doing it backwards. You're doing that, but you got to do that and then change the sign to where that's a negative and then add 1 and then
Okay.
yeah, it's a pain. It's a pain.
Okay. That makes
Right.
a lot more sense and why
Yeah.
my answer was wrong.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, what else? Anything else from you or anybody else there?
I'm good.
If nothing else, hopefully I've convinced all of you that you really want to have this calculator, which is TI 30X Roman numeral 2, and then it's S for solar or B for battery. Here's the sad thing. I have about 10 of these in my classroom that I usually loan out to students every quarter, but I couldn't get in my classroom. So there they sit. Whenever my wife goes to Goodwill, I go and buy up all their calculators for like $2 or $3 a piece that I can and just hand them out to students. But anyway, all right. Anything else?
Well, I got some of these ones if you want to give away too.
in case people need paperweights. All right, you
Yeah.
know who to call. Well, that's it. I'll be back at 1:15 this afternoon. Again, you know the deal. There will be no class meeting tomorrow. Just take your test sometime between now and 11:59 p.m. tomorrow night. I'll be back on Wednesday where we're going to start chapter 11. So
Thank you.
have a great one.
Bye.
Bye.